Hey everybody, this is a disclaimer. If you're sensitive to certain topics, especially about suicide, that's what this video is going to be about. Click off the video if you don't want to hear about it. I don't blame you. This will probably be the only time I ever talk about it, because to be frank, it gets talked about so much that I think it was put into the world on the word itself is put into the world on purpose. So, like I said, disclaimer, if you don't want to hear about it, shut the video off now and just tune into my next video, okay? Thank you. Alright, how's it going, everybody? Rudy here. There's something that's been on my mind for a little while, and it keeps getting brought up. It's definitely a fractal, because anything human beings come up with is a fractal, and it's this word called suicide. It's going to be a little more serious than usual, I guess. I'll try to lighten up the mood a little bit. But I want to start off with the premise that, which on a previous video, I made a very bold claim that our thoughts are the enemy. My thoughts are the enemy, your thoughts are the enemy. Your own mind is a setup from the get-go to be your enemy. The moment we speak our language, scratch that. The moment we learn a language, the moment we start talking, the moment we start stringing words together, we start stringing the spellcraft to language in our own minds, is when we begin manifesting. And it's language given to us on purpose by Satan, by the devil. These ideas kind of float through human consciousness, and suicide is one of them. And I don't know where the word comes from. All I know is that it was a word given to us on purpose in order to control us, in order to get it in our mind that we can take our own lives. 100% on purpose, in order to trick ourselves into deleting one of God's children. And there's really no convincing me otherwise. I don't know if there are any other animals that do something like that to themselves. I highly doubt it. If there are, let me know in the comments. I'm more than willing to learn about anything like that. If there's any other animal that has that kind of behavior. Because everybody goes through it. Everybody has the crazy thoughts going through their head. I just went through it today. I'm not perfect, y'all. And it's like, when the thoughts just won't stop. And here's the thing about it. I know what's going on when it happens. I can detect it immediately. And it's hard it's all about getting over the hump. It's not even really, it's hard, but it's easy at the same time, because it seems so difficult at the time to just let the thoughts pass. Let the crazy thoughts flow and observe them. You're supposed to observe your own thoughts. Be on the outside looking in. It's as if somebody was breaking into your house, and let's say you're in the street, on the middle of the street, you can see your house, and you just see someone breaking into it, and you just go, oh, look at them, they're acting crazy. Look at them breaking into my house. I'm going to call the cops. And just leave it at that, right? You don't even have a strong opinion about it. It's that simple, but at the same time, it's easy to get wrapped up in the person that's burglarizing you, that's violating your property, violating your space. And that's what the thoughts do. They violate your personal space, and it's really hard to separate, but it's easy to separate this at the same time, because you're supposed to just let it flow like water flowing through your hands. It just goes through without any effort whatsoever. The water's just doing what water does, and you're supposed to let the thoughts do what thoughts do, which is just pass. You're the observer observing yourself, if that makes any sense. And maybe one day I can get a little more detail about that, if there's even detail to get into about it. But I think it's really deep. And I just went through it. I've told y'all before. I don't know what it is about because I work overnights at a retail store, 24-hour store. And maybe I've cursed myself to a degree, but it's like, it seems like between maybe 3 o'clock-ish to around 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock, my mind just starts wandering. It starts going crazy. It starts, like, the negative energy, the negative thoughts just start overflowing. And I can detect when it happens now. And sometimes I gotta just go sit down in a quiet room, because I can go, because we got intercoms all over the store that play music, and it's really hard to get away. But there is one room, it's an electrical room in the back that I can go, that I have access to, that I can just sit down and let the thoughts flow. I've done it a few times where it was just so bad, and today was the day that I couldn't do that because I had things I had to do. So the entire time I'm doing my task, these thoughts are just coming and going. And I'm not gonna lie, it's thoughts about what this topic is. I'm not gonna say it because y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I don't want anyone to think that I'd actually do that. I would not. And never say never, right? I'm joking. But everybody goes through this. Everybody has these crazy nutty jobs. Everybody has these crazy nutty thoughts that they have to get over. And it's not even a matter of getting over it. Like I said, it's like nothing. They don't exist. The thoughts don't exist. And that's the thing you have to realize. And there's suicide on my wife's side of the family. Well, there's suicide on my side of the family as well. My brother tried to kill himself when he found out his wife was trying to divorce him. And the only reason I'm giggling about it is, like, she wasn't even worth, like, no woman is worth it, right? No man is worth it either, ladies. If any ladies out there listening, no man is worth your life. No woman is worth your life, guys out there. Even if you're married with children, your soul isn't worth that bullshit. But anyway, my brother tried to do it. He overdosed on his seizure medication. I've talked about that. My brother was epileptic and he had seizures a lot. What in the world? But he tried to do himself in. He wasn't successful. They pumped his stomach in time and he was hospitalized for a few days. They ended up getting divorced anyway, so that didn't do any good. And like I said, she wasn't worth it. But the suicide on my wife's side of the family, more than one. And the one that I was around for was my wife's aunt's granddaughter. And my wife's aunt, her side of the family is very estranged. There's a split. I've talked about this before. There's a bit of a split in the family because of that. And I'm not gonna say the little girl's name. When I say little girl, she was 14, I believe, when she did it. She found her father's gun. And the way the story goes, I'm gonna call her A. So A, the little girl, her name's A from now on. So A goes into the bathroom after a big argument her and her mother had. And like a few days before, her mother had put her cat to sleep, like, because she was tired of from what I heard, I don't actually know. The mother was tired of taking care of this cat and shitting indoors. You cats had to have a litter pan. Technically, they're shitting indoors. So she had her cat put down without her knowing. So she kind of like went crazy after that. And a few days later, she killed herself with her father's gun in the bathroom with a revolver. It was she didn't die right away. She lived for a few hours after that. It was actually my mother-in-law, which would be the aunt's, the grandmother's sister. My mother-in-law was the one who cleaned the mess up. And it was a bloody mess, obviously. So there's a suicide on that side of the family that was pretty rough on everybody. Not me, because I didn't. I'm just not affected by things like that as much as the normal person is, I guess. I've always been like that. I've always been different in that way. And it's not like I didn't care. To be honest, I care more now than I ever have. That's why I'm talking about it. Because it got me thinking about this fractal, the suicide fractal, where this idea is out there that you can do things like that. And it keeps being brought back up on purpose. This fentanyl thing, the new thing is to all these celebrities overdosing on fentanyl, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's like, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm just repeating what the media says. because they're the assholes that are repeating this shit. And I am too, to a degree. And I almost didn't make this video because I really don't want to talk about this, but I feel like I need to, or that I have to. I want to, because it's so heartbreaking that your own thoughts are your enemy. And it took me a while to really conceptualize this, and just recently it hit me. And I was going through it today, like I said. I think everyone does. I've been talking to the lady I work with, Karina. I've mentioned her a few times, and she goes through it too. She almost killed herself at one point, and because she's had a rough life. I'm not going to tell her business, but she goes through it. The crazy thoughts come and they won't go away. And I think women have it a lot harder. I think women have it a lot harder than men do when it comes to those kind of things, because women are just, I'm not trying to be nasty or ugly, but women just go through the craziness a little bit more than men do. And her and I have talked about this. She's a woman, obviously, and she agrees. She's observed this herself because she has a roommate. It's a dude. It's an older guy. No, wait, they're the same age. So they're both 33. I believe he may be 34. But she's noticed that even though he's a little nuts in the sense that his mother traumatized him and he went through all that, and they've been talking about that, like having some deep conversations about the trauma that he's been through, trying to talk through it. And despite the fact that his mother kind of damaged him in many ways, and his sisters, he's been, I'm talking about the roommate, by the way, her roommate. And despite all that, he's still the calmer one. And it seems like he can calm down faster when the thoughts start going nuts and he starts getting angry. He can just settle down a lot quicker than the females that Karina has been around, because Karina's been raised by females. She's been around females all her life. I'm not going to tell her business, but it's just an observation she made. And I've been all around females all my life too, so I know what she means. There's just something about them that when they go nuts, they really go nuts. There's just something inside them. It's like that demon just comes out, and that it's a demon that's in everybody. Like I said, it's Lucifer that manipulates your thoughts. It'll trick you into this business of taking your own life, because he wants you to do this. He wants you to destroy yourself, and once you destroy yourself, you destroy others in the process, because it's just a domino effect at that point once someone has taken their life. So, and it got me thinking. The little girl, 14-year-old girl that did that to herself. I don't think she meant to kill herself. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. I don't think anybody wants to kill themselves. Like, they really don't. They don't. The ego at the time wants to die. And the ego is the thoughts. So, y'all know the gesture, the finger gun gesture, right? And it's going to be weird to say it, but whenever these thoughts are going nuts, I visualize that, like doing that to myself with the finger gun. I know it's silly, but think of that motion people do when they want to do that to themselves, like in a joking way, right? They do the finger gun, they put it to their forehead, and they pull the imaginary trigger of the thumb. And it hit me when I visualized that. I was like, oh my God, it's not that I want to die, it's that I want the thoughts to stop. And that's all I want. It's like I want that relief of the thoughts to just go away, because I realize subconsciously, everybody realizes subconsciously that your thoughts are the enemy, right? I just want y'all to consider this next time your brain's going crazy, because everybody goes through it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a preacher or the president of the United States. I don't care if you're a Saudi Arabian prince in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. You have these crazy thoughts go through your head that are attempting to make you take your own life. And the way you get past it is to just let it flow. Don't do the thing, obviously. I'm not saying don't do the thing. I'm saying Observe your thoughts. Imagine yourself on the outside, right in the middle of the street. You're watching your own thoughts break into your house. And you just go, man, look at that. Those crazy thoughts again. Breaking into my house, thinking I'm not there, right? You know when a burglar is breaking into your house. I've had my house robbed before, so I know how that goes. And literally, what I'm explaining literally happened to me. Where I observed the guy literally just breaking into my house like I'm not there. Like he thinks I'm not there, but I'm there. And I came at that dude with a machete. That's a funny story. Man, I had a machete in my hand and that dude took off. Fucking A, man. Life's funny, guys. And I am not the violent type. Like, I'm not. I'm a big dude. I'm like 270. I'm only 5'6". I need to lose weight, guys. But it's like, I'm fat, but I do have muscle. So it's like, I'm kind of intimidating if I were to get in your face. Not that I would, right? I'm not like that. I'm not going to try to intimidate anyone. But that dude, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm standing here watching you going into my window. And he just started mumbling. He started shaking and he just walked away. He just took off. And then I called the cops. And in hindsight, I should have called the cops first as soon as I saw him. But I don't know what came over me, dude. It's like, I got that Spaniard blood, man. And it's like the conquistador in me took over. It's like I wanted to like fucking behead the guy right there and there. It was crazy thought. Man, that experience was so funny to me. But that's what you do. You observe the thoughts and don't have a reaction. Like you're talking to someone crazy. Like you ever talk to someone who's just spouting off? Let's say, for instance, you're at work. You're at the water cooler, bullshitting about the last Seinfeld episode or something like that. We're friends, and suddenly they start talking about their spouse, and it's like, oh shit, here we go again. And you just let them talk. Like just observe them acting crazy. Don't even say anything. That's what you do. Like, I don't know, man. I know this is a serious topic, and it's simple, but it's not simple, and I acknowledge that. And all of y'all, everybody here, myself included, everybody that's listening, you know what people are going through when they say they want to do that to themselves. And I don't even like saying the word anymore because it's such a not Nook approved word, like a demon approved, Lucifer approved, Luciferian word that I'm so tired of hearing about. I'm tired of saying it. And it's like that girl I talked about, the little girl named A, she did not want to kill herself. She wanted the thoughts to stop. And I'm not gonna lie, her crazy mother drove her to that point. And I don't know how she feels about that. I've spoken to her before. On the outside, she seems like a nice lady, but we've all heard the stories. And guess what, guys? It's another story about a weak father who can't control his woman. And I know it sounds... I don't really give a shit if you think it's sexist. I mean, this lady was... From what we heard, this lady was just overbearing and out of control. And the father, which would be my wife's aunt's son, estranged son. So, and it's like, he does not like her. He does not like his mother. Their relationship is so estranged and traumatic that I don't blame him for finding a woman that controls him. He married a woman that would control him because of the trauma that his mother put him through. And there's no doubt about it. But at least he was honest, you know, because he told her to fuck off. And she fucked off and complained about it the whole time. Instead of just saying, you know, I'm sorry for traumatizing you. I'm sorry for turning you against your father. I'm sorry for being a drunk. I'm sorry for being a whore. No. We don't do that. Mothers won't do that. My mother did. So there's an exception to the rule. She apologized for all that bullshit, which I was shocked. Fucking shocked. God damn. Anyway, guys, I know it's a deep topic. I'm gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, just to let y'all know what it's about, because it might have. I don't want to influence people in any way. I want This channel really is about overcoming. And it is about reality breakdowns, because the whole suicide fractal is a reality breakdown. It's I'm here to, and I don't have the answers, guys. Like, you got to look within yourself. I tell my story because I want you to relate to my story in some way and say, you know what, that dude's going, what I'm going through. That's all I want you to do. And it's like, it's not like I'm just making shit up. I'm 39. I'm not that old. I'm only 39. I hadn't been through that much trauma in comparison to other people. Karina, for example, being raised in Mexico the way she did, and suddenly being in America, having to learn a different language, having to be homeless multiple times. Like, she went through it way more than me. Like, I didn't go through nothing. I'm just saying. But I go through it. I go through it, y'all. And next time the thoughts are going wild, you can drop a comment in my on this video. Bookmark this video, drop a comment. Next time the thoughts are going crazy, if I see the comment, maybe I can talk you through it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting myself out there a little too much. Maybe I don't know, guys. We got a fellowship. Like, we need to talk about these things, even if it is not Nook approved, demon approved, Lucifer approved. Even if it is, like, we're stuck in these minds. It's like a prison almost. And I know, I hate to say it that way, because maybe I shouldn't be cursing my own self. Keep it to yourself, Rudy. Fucking asshole. I'm not a prisoner of my own mind. But it feels like, oh my gosh, like, I love life, okay? Like, I like this experience. Especially now. After I forgave my dad and I forgave my mother, like, life is like amazing. Like, life is wonderful. It's so interesting. But I'll be the first to admit, when the thoughts come and they start going crazy, and it's like a cascade effect. It's like a downward spiral into the abyss. Like, I fall into the abyss, and it's like what is life exactly after that? You know what I mean? But I go through it too. Man, do I go through it. And everyone else does too. Because there ain't a damn person here who can get on their fucking pedestal and say that they haven't gone through it, because they have. They're full of shit if they deny it. Hello. Part 2. Same day, actually. I was re-listening to the things that I just said, and completely gleamed over something I wanted to briefly mention. Well, not briefly. We'll see how far I get into it. But I talked about A, the little girl. Her name is A. She did herself in, right? It's tragic. And what I wanted to really talk about is the behavior of people, let's say it that way. My wife's side of the family, because I'm completely separated from my side of the family. My mother's side, my father's side, I don't have anything to do with them. I want it that way. I like it that way. I only have to deal with my wife's side, which I love them. But the thing that I've observed, the big thing that I observed is the behavior did not change after this little girl killed herself. Their behavior did not change, in the sense that nobody ever, as far as I know, nobody ever reflected on, what did I do to cause this? What did I do? What did I say? Especially the grandmother. Because this grandmother, let's call her G, her name's G. That's my wife's aunt, my mother-in-law's sister, the grandmother, who she's had issues in her life. Her son was estranged because of those issues. And she's probably never once reflected on herself or said to herself, what can I do different? And she has a daughter as well, and they're alive and well. That's my wife's cousin. We'll call her C. So we got G and C. These names aren't important. Don't worry about the names. But my wife's cousin C, well, let's call her K. You know what? Don't matter. Forget it. My wife's cousin, she has separation in her family as well, her children. She has an oldest daughter. Again, guys, no names. Her oldest daughter is in 23, I believe, still living with them. And she also has a middle daughter and a youngest son, which he's 11. The son is 11. I believe the daughter is 13, and the other daughter is in her 20s from a different father. So we got this lady who has children from two separate fathers, two different guys. Let's put it that way. So there's separation there. She's just repeating, guys, she's just repeating what her mother did, okay? No, just point blank. That's what's going on. Of course, they don't talk about it. I don't talk about it with them because it's none of my business. No one's coming to me and asking, so I'm going to butt out. Just put it that way. I've talked to my mother-in-law about it before. She doesn't get offended or anything because she always wonders why is it that, and they're separated as well because my mother-in-law and her sister have different fathers. The oldest, my mother-in-law's sister is like 7 years older than her, and my mother-in-law's father came into her sister's life at kind of a later age, like 7 years old. 8 years old is it's pretty traumatic to lose your father and suddenly have another man in your life and end up with a baby sister from that man. So that's where the separation began. Like I say, guys, these traumas, they go back and back and back and back. You can trace it back, trace it back, trace it back. Okay? But this lady, the grandmother of the little girl who killed herself, I don't think she's ever once said to herself, what did I do wrong? What have I done wrong to make my son want nothing to do with me? So the behavior hasn't changed. And it escalates to the point where now you have a dead granddaughter, right? Even though I did say the mother drove her to that, it doesn't matter because she's the crux. She's the crux in that instance because it's her actions. But the behavior doesn't change. And the thing about my wife and her cousin with all these children for different men, she probably doesn't reflect on herself either. So you can only imagine how this cascade effect goes on and on and on and on. And the trauma gets passed on, it gets passed on, it gets passed on over and over and over again. Nobody's behavior changes. Even though you have a little girl who's not with us anymore. You have a little girl that's not with us anymore. Nobody reflects on this. So I said, what can I do different? What can I say different? Because, let's call her Kay. That's my wife's cousin. Kay does not show patience with her children, her younger children, because the oldest daughter, she kind of does her own thing. And she's got mess going on too. Everybody's got mess, but she's got mess. I got mess, you got mess. Everybody's got mess, but she does not treat her youngest children all too well. She does not have patience with them. They fight all the time. They fight all the time, and I mean all the time, guys. The 13-year-old girl tries to make the 11-year-old boy cry on purpose all the time. They fight and they fight and they fight. It's just, there's just no peace. When it's time for my daughter to spend time with them, it's all about them all the time because they just can't help themselves because their mother is crazy. Their mother drove them to that. And the sad part is it's worse than this because the oldest daughter, the 23-year-old girl, got a hysterectomy because she doesn't want children. And it's like, once I heard that, I just found out about this recently, like my blood started boiling because I know whose fucking fault it is. It's this grandmother who has managed to just divide and traumatize everybody on her side of the family. And it goes deeper than that because this grandmother, it's her mother that started this as well. because she's the one who has 2 children from 2 different men as well. So do you see the destruction play out? It's just a wrath of destruction worse than any war has caused, because these issues just project outwards into the future. Like, do you guys see what I'm seeing? And this is my problem with, and this suicide thing, the little girl who killed herself because of her crazy mother. Ain't no telling what went on in that side of the family either, because her crazy mother drove her to that. Her father was too weak to do anything about it. Her father was just bow down to wifey, kiss wifey's ass. Wifey wants this, wifey wants that. I like that word. I'm gonna start using it a lot. Thanks, Kirk. Shout out to Kirk, Metaphysical Truth and Games. He started using the word wifey. I've never really heard that before. I thought it was too funny. But it's so appropriate. And it's like, man, and I know it seems like a pick on women, but the men are so pathetic, myself included. I'm not excluding myself from this. Men are weak and pathetic for letting these women trot all over them. Fucking grow a set, guys. If you see your spouse acting crazy with your daughter or with your son, you need to say something. Speak up, please, because this is deep. This destruction is just gets, like I said, it gets projected into the future in ways you can't even imagine. It's just death and chaos and disorder, and this is what Satan wants. He wants the world to be controlled with this feminine energy. He wants men putting dresses on and pretending they're women. He wants women in the workforce thinking that they're men. Guys, the world is upside down. And I know what some of y'all may think, and he just doesn't like women. It's not that. I want all people. I want what's the best for all people. Like, y'all have no idea. It's so deep. But this is the other thing I missed in my talk, and I think I covered it pretty good. Agree or disagree? Y'all can leave a comment. Tell me about it. Tell me about what you're going through without giving names, right? Because I had to use, I'm not giving out names. I'm just telling y'all what's going on in my circles. And the behavior doesn't change, guys. These people, golly, I'm not excluded from this, okay? I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I'm saying I can at least see it, and it's my fault for not speaking up. And to a big degree, it's none of my business. Because if they want to suffer, they can suffer. They can suffer all. I'm not here to change minds. I'm not here to be your daddy. I'm not here to be your preacher. I am not a preacher, guys. Like, I'm just telling you my story. Leave it at that. Do not do anything I suggest because you think I'm, I don't know, above in some way. I'm made from the dirt. I came from the dirt. I'll be dust and ashes once I'm in the grave, just like anybody else. I think that's all I got to say. Big takeaway, guys. The biggest takeaway I want is that even after something so tragic as a little girl doing that to herself, the behavior didn't change. Nobody goes, maybe the way I'm acting now, nobody says that the way I'm acting now, maybe this is the reason why A killed herself. Maybe what could I do differently with my own children? Nobody does it because they want to live in their little fucking bubble and be comfortable. It makes me sick. It makes me want to spit. Like, it makes me want to curse. But that's what Lucifer wants, right? So I'm not doing it. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day. All right. How's it going, guys? It's going to be another part, probably part 3 of what I was talking about yesterday. It's actually, I'm going into work right now, so it's like I'm doing this talk right before work. I woke up with this on my mind about this topic. You already know. And something that I completely forgot about yesterday that I wanted to talk about was these The one thing I wanted to talk about that I completely forgot was why do you go through it? Like I said, we all go through it at some point. Just the craziness, the crazy thoughts, the demons bouncing around in your head, the devil whispering things in your ear. Because as I said before, I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate: these aren't your thoughts. These thoughts are coming from Satan. Satan's got control of our minds, and our brains are like a proxy for what he wants. He wants us to do, and he manipulates people in different ways. The big one is obviously the S, suicide. I was going to say the S word, but I've already said it multiple times. I might as well just say it. Because you don't, well, I'll just speak for myself. I don't want to do something like that. I don't think anybody does. We've been over this, but to me, it's a fresh day, so I'm going to go ahead and restate it so I can get into the mindset of this talk since it's a different day. I don't want to do that, but I want the thoughts to stop, and I think that's how everyone feels on a deeper level, because a lot of people who have these thoughts think they're crazy, and maybe to a little bit of degree it is, because these thoughts aren't our own, guys. My thoughts are not my own. There is no free will. I've mentioned that before. The only choice we have is to reflect, meaning we can only, like I'm doing now, this talk I'm doing, that's the only illusion of free choice that I have. Discernment. All I can do is reflect and reflect and reflect and cry out to God, basically. And a lot of people don't like that. They consider it weakness. A lot of former Christians turn atheists, or just people that are raised atheists, because they believe that crying out to God is a form of weakness. It's not necessarily that they don't believe in God or in a God. It's the fact that what they've been told is the image of a man on his hands and knees praying, which is something I do not do. I've never got on my knees and prayed. Well, that's a lie, actually. I used to when I was a little kid. I'm not going to get into that. There's a specific reason for it. Very specific reason for it. But I'm not going to get into that now because it's a whole different can of worms. But I don't do that. I do not get on my hands and knees and pray. The Catholics absolutely love to do that. They love getting on their knees. They love the pain involved. They'll walk a mile on their knees just to prove how holy they are. Getting gravel stuck in their knees. It's just craziness, guys, and I don't subscribe to that, and I don't recommend you do that either. You don't have to get on your hands and knees to cry out to God. And what I mean by cry out to God is to almost like, why are you putting me through this? Like, can't you intervene? Can you help me, please? And I've done that before because it was just a moment of desperation. And it's like, why are you putting me through this? Like, why? I just want to answer. Can't you just answer me? It's one of those kind of deals. Like, Father, why are you doing this? And I don't really care if y'all think it's weakness. By this point, y'all know me. Hopefully, any new people that are listening, it's whatever. Think what you want. I really don't care. But it hit me yesterday while I was going through it. It dawned on me afterwards when I felt good. I felt fine. Well, not good, but I felt fine. I felt pretty neutral. I felt like I ran a 30-mile race in the sun, 12 p.m. Just exhausted, like mentally exhausted. And it finally went away, and I was flatlined. I was calm. I was at peace, and I'm like, I know why God put me through it. I know why He didn't intervene, and maybe He did at the very end. But it's like, why not? Like, you need to. And this is what happened, guys. It was like 5 a.m. and the truck's supposed to come in, our freight truck that has all our totes that we work out the freight and all that. And it was late. And I was thinking to myself, did I misread the time wrong? Because I do that sometimes when I look at the store tracker. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I misread it wrong. But I heard him outside. I was like, damn, there he is. And they usually have people scheduled to come in, but my boss messed up the schedule. So he's the only one that showed up. And he was like, hey, Rudy, I need you to help me unload truck. And I said out loud, I was like, are you kidding me right now? Because Guys, that's the one thing I did not want to happen. And it was like a reverse manifestation. Like, and I didn't realize until this after the fact, so I was all pissed off already. I didn't take it on him. I didn't show him that I was mad, but I was, dude, I was like livid, like in my own head. And I was already going through it, guys. So it's like a double whammy. And it's like, God's going to put you through that just to prove a point. And I know any non-Christians, any atheists, whatever, you think it's cruel and unusual. And I don't blame you, because I used to think that. I used to think, what kind of God would put his children through this? And it hit me after the fact. We unloaded a truck. It was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. My boss is really proactive when it comes to things like that. I've had bosses before who were just lazy and didn't want to do anything. And it was really frustrating. This boss isn't like that. He's a cool guy. He's very active in the store. He's on the floor all the time. He's not the kind that just hangs out in the office and does nothing. Like I said, I've had plenty of those, and anybody who's worked in the corporate world or any job that has a manager like that, you know how it goes. So I realized after the fact, and Karina knew I was going through it. I've talked about Karina before. Karina was like, and I admitted afterwards, like, man, I was going through something earlier, and I hope you didn't take anything personally, because I realized I was acting a certain way, and I'm sorry. I just apologized. Look, I'm sorry. And while it was going on, and I was having to interact with Karina about job duties and stuff, I was going through it, and I knew I was going through it, and I was like, man, I hope I don't wild out. And it's like, I'm not the type to really flip out, but it's like, I hope she don't take it personally if I do get a little snappy. But she knows already. She knows me. She goes through it too. So it's like and she knew after the fact. She told me, like, yeah, I could tell you're going through something. Thankfully, right? She's very understanding. She's great in that regard. She's very observant. And she knew I was going through it, so she just backed off. She left me alone, which I was grateful for. Like, I'm really grateful that she was that observant, that she just backed off. But after the fact, I was going through it, man. It's like, but it's so strange what he will put you through with a capital H. He'll put you through these things just so you'll overcome and see yourself. And guys, I want you to take a step back. Next time you think you're going through something, you think, that's the thing though, it's an illusion of these thoughts in your head where you think you're going through something are just illusions. It's not real. It's not really happening. All the crazy thoughts in my brain that night weren't happening. It's all in your head. Guys, this is super important. And it's like, he's going to put you through it just to see if you could handle it. And it's not him that's causing it, it's Satan, right? But he's not going to intervene with the capital H. Like, God is not going to intervene. He might, but it's like 99% of the time, he's not going to intervene. He's going to let you go through this nonsense. And he's going to let you go through it on every aspect of your life just so you'll grow spiritually, just so you'll have an epiphany, just so you'll have an awakening. Because if he intervened in every single aspect of what you're going through, you wouldn't learn anything. You need to fall, like I've said before, I think it was my You Arcane video. Like, you need to go through it. You need to climb the highest tree, even after your father told you not to, and you need to fall. You just need to fall. Break your leg, break your arm. You didn't die. Maybe you even broke your back and you're crippled for the rest of your life. That's a lesson. I know it's cruel and unusual, right, guys? But that's the lesson you have to go through in order for you to grow spiritually, to have an epiphany, to come back to him. My children will return to me, right? Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But Jesus went through it too, guys. So it's like, who are you? Who am I to not go through something? Just a little bit. It's just a little bit of mental anguish. And mental anguish is just an illusion. I've just stated that. And Jesus went through it. At the very end, Jesus is on the cross and he says, God, why have you forsaken me? It's like the man who had the most faith at the very end had a smidge, a tiny bit of doubt. And that's human, dude. That is the message, the ultimate message. He felt the ego pain at the very end before he expired. God, why you forsaken me? Who hasn't said that at some point while looking up to the sky? I don't care if let's say you're an atheist. Your dumbass probably looked up to the sky and said, "What, God, what is happening? Why, God? Oh my God." How many times have you said that? How many atheists say that stupid phrase? Oh my God. Do you think they're joking? No, that's ridiculous. I just want you to think next time, guys, when you're going through something. I know some of y'all that I know watch me, and I'm not gonna say any names, but you know who you are. You'll make videos and you talk about how you're going through it, man, and I sympathize, like I really do. My brothers, right? My brothers and sisters. I consider y'all brothers and sisters to a large extent because we share the same father. That makes us brothers and sisters. Even if you're an atheist, you know. And when I hear y'all go through it, I'm like, yeah, you need to go through it. You need it's gonna make your skin thicker. You're gonna be mentally ready and able to face the world, because that's what Jesus had to do. He had to pick up his cross and walk, and while everyone threw stones at him, they called him names. They made him the scapegoat, and he just took it. He just took it. And y'all, he took it because he had to. That's what his father intended him. That's why he was created. That was his path. He had to take his cross even while everybody hated him. They scapegoated him, right? It was his fault. Everything that was going wrong in the world was his fault at that moment. The Romans scapegoated him. The people scapegoated him. The Jews scapegoated him. They hated him at the very end. And yeah, he had a lot of followers, but how many of them stood up for him? Even his own little disciples were cowards. St. Peter denied him 3 times. You know, and because, you know what, guys, I'm gonna get into this a little bit. St. Peter, everybody likes to rag on St. Peter and be like, I wouldn't do that. You know, me and my coworker had a discussion about that yesterday, and I was like, look, everybody likes to say they wouldn't betray Jesus. What St. Peter did, deny him 3 times. Like, yeah, you would. Yeah, you would, because when you got some 6 foot, like a group of 6 foot tall, 6'3" Roman soldiers with spears, they're pissed off. They're getting in your face, yelling in your face, like, you're gonna deny. You're gonna deny your father. You'll be the first to point fingers at him and be like, look, I don't know him. I don't know this man. You're gonna say it 3 times. Believe me. And Jesus called it ahead of time, because he understands people. I understand people. And I'm not saying I know everything, guys. I'm not saying I know everything, but golly, consider it for a fact. You and I will be the first people to look those Roman soldiers in the eye and say, I do not know this man. Because all of a sudden, my dumb ass is on the line. It's like, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. I was just following. I wasn't following him. What the? You would betray him in a heartbeat. And it's like, come on, man. Ain't a damn soul on this planet. I don't care who you are. You're a preacher. You're going to deny, because that's human nature. And Jesus understood that, and he loved him. He loved his disciples anyway. For the dumbasses, for the mess they were. Man, his disciples, I said this in another video, his disciples were a bunch of clowns. They were stooges following Jesus. They don't even know why they're following Jesus. It's like they're so dumb. They didn't understand any of his parables. And Jesus knew right then and there that a bunch of idiots were following him. And it's like, whatever, I love him anyway. You know, his little brother is just a bunch of idiots. It's so funny, you guys. The Bible's so funny. Like, I'm going to talk about, Den Keeper brought up that, this is a while back, maybe like 2 months ago. He was talking about, when he imagines the Bible, he imagines a Monty Python skit, like a Holy Grail, Life of Brian. Oh God, if you actually want a good movie about weird biblical shit, go watch Life of Brian. Life of Brian's real good. You can probably find it on YouTube without having to worry about copyright. But it's perfect. Life of Brian is perfect. It's probably more accurate than the Bible itself when it comes to these idiots who just are looking for a Messiah, and they just follow the first dumbass that catches their ear. You know, I know I'm implying that Jesus was a dumbass, but it's like, it's so funny, guys. And he's right. Like, Den Keeper's on point with that. Like, the Bible is so funny to me. because these people are acting like people. They're acting like modern people. The way the way his disciples don't understand his parables. They don't understand Jesus' parables, and it's like, you would think out of all the people in the Bible, his little apostles would understand more than anybody else. And you extend that to the dumbasses in the church. Extend that to the preachers. The preachers don't even understand Jesus' parables. It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying I understand everything. I really don't. I'm a dumbass too. Anyway, guys, the main point was, next time you're going through it, take a step back. Go into your prayer closet. When I say prayer closet, I don't mean literally. Go sit on the can and just be still. Maybe you're at work. You're at work. You can't get away. Go into take a break. Take a 15-minute break. Go sit in your car. Go sit in the bathroom. Just get away for a minute and go through it. Go through it. Go through it. You're gonna have the voices screaming at you. It's like Revolver. When Matt McKinley brought up Revolver, and it was amazing when he brought that up, because I was like, yeah. When he brought up Revolver, I was like, yeah, that's good old knot milk bouncing around. That's your thoughts, dude. And he didn't say that or anything, but I'm saying, like, those are your thoughts. That's the perfect example of your thoughts coming at you. Or it's just like, no, you're not supposed to love your father. God isn't real. Kill yourself. It's like, yeah, that's it, dude. That's 100% on point. 10 times 10, whatever the modern cool kids say. I think 10 times 10 is kind of old by this point. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I have to say. If I got more, it's going to be a 40-minute video, y'all, which is great, because I really like these longer videos. I know some of y'all work and y'all like hearing things like that. At least I do, me personally. When I see someone like Matt, anybody really, Kirk, he's another guy who does very long videos when he does do them, which I like when he does 40-minute, 50-minute videos. Sometimes Matt will have a 90-minute video. It's like, whoa, I got entertainment for the whole night. Like, it's like a joy. It's like Christmas Day. I get to open a present, Matt McKinley, to Rudy from Matt McKinley. Like, that's the way I kind of see it. Nothing crazy like that, guys. Matt might be listening. I appreciate him listening when he does listen. Anyway, it's a long video, guys. Y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye.